In today's video, we're going to be going over these current conditions, diving into some upcoming severe weather, as well as that upcoming pattern. Let's just get straight into things, though, and first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. As you can see, there's quite a bit going on around the nation here. We see that here in the northwest, there is some showery activity going on around multiple states, even some thunderstorms potentially in some of these spots up here. We also have some activity just to the east of that region. And even for the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, as well as here in the Southeast and the deeper South, we do have some of those tropical, more isolated thunderstorms. So you might be able to tell here that there's only a very small amount of areas here that I didn't circle in, and that's because there's just a lot of activity spread across a lot of different regions here. We're going to zoom in the northwest here real quickly, and as you can see, we have some heavier showers actually for Washington, and it was in Oregon earlier. Those have kind of moved up further north, but these are just moving northward here. And we can tell that there is some heavier showers for sure there, especially in the yellows and oranges there around for Washington, scattered about. And actually, as we head our way kind of southwest of there, or southeast of there, better yet, we can see that there is some pockets of even heavier showers here and thunderstorms here for Montana and the Dakotas, as well as northern Wyoming. And outside of that region, there is some lighter showers going on still. Even as we head towards the southern Four Corner states and kind of western Texas there, we can see that there is still some showery activity heading through these desert regions like we were seeing last week. Now, we do have a pocket of heavier thunderstorms and showers here for Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri as well. These are kind of firing off, bringing heavier rainfall and potentially severe weather and thunderstorm activity in there. So we're going to want to be on the watch out for that throughout the day today. And we're going to take a look here at the Ohio Valley real quickly as we have some thunderstorm activity. And surrounding those thunderstorms, there is some showery activity going on for a lot of these different regions, and we need to watch for all of those things. It's pretty concerning, and we just need to keep an eye on it because obviously we're expecting severe weather for certain regions, and the Ohio Valley and the eastern United States seems like one of those spots today. We had pretty bad severe weather yesterday, and I think it might have even been this storm that was way up in the Dakotas and Minnesota and Iowa and stuff much earlier yesterday evening. I might be mistaken there, but that would make a lot of sense. Obviously, it's not as bad right now, but this could be the same exact storm system that blasted through and brought severe weather in multiple different forms. So be on the lookout for any sort of severe weather implications. Also, flooding. I see flash flood warnings coming in, so be on the lookout for that as well. Now, we can see as we look towards the northeast that there is just some showers more further south and some more persistent rainfall further north up there in Maine. We're going to want to watch for all of these things. It's an area that's seen a lot of rainfall lately, and we need to watch for it. Potential flooding in these heavier yellow regions, but that looks to come to an end potentially in the next few hours. Here in the east, we can see this region here that I'm circling. This is kind of where we primarily expect severe weather today. We'll take a look at that towards the end of the video, but we can already see thunderstorms kind of firing up here on this more western end of all those things. And once those get east of the Appalachians, they might fire back up for sure. And once we take a look at the deeper south, we can just see these isolated thunderstorms around over the Gulf and offshore of the southeast coast. These areas can come onshore at times, and we're going to want to watch for those. Very quick thunderstorms. They can bring some pretty bad conditions at times, downpours, even severe weather implications. So we'll watch for that, but right now there isn't many onshore. This might change later on, though. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the upcoming pattern. We're going to dive into the upcoming storminess, total rainfall, and upcoming temperature pattern, and then just take a look at that severe weather. Now, here we are taking a look at some of that upcoming storminess. As we take a look at later this afternoon, we can see there's a lot of it going on here, mostly in the eastern half of the nation. And as we approach later this evening, we can see them really fire up in here. Again, that's the area we primarily expect that severe weather to take place. Also, there looks like some activity out here towards the west as well. We'll look at that also. Later on Thursday evening, tomorrow, we can see that very similar regions actually get that severe weather. It almost looks identical, but we see some severe weather potentially here in the eastern United States. We also see storminess around for all of the northwest and the north central United States as well. So we will be watching for that also. Friday evening, we again have thunderstorms around here for the eastern half of the nation, maybe even primarily the eastern third there, I would say. of the nation. Very quiet for the southwestern corner. More like the southwestern half of the nation, actually. Very, very quiet. Now, as we approach Saturday, July 9th, we see this thunderstorm activity continuing here for the southeastern United States. Very interesting pattern we find ourselves in. We see storms flaring up here. We expect potential severe weather there. Sunday, July 10th, in the extended range. We'll take a look at that in a minute. We see also thunderstorm activity continuing here for the southeastern United States. Very, very interesting. By the time we reach Monday here, we see this kind of subsiding here finally for the southeast. It's starting to head further south. We see another line of thunderstorms and showers moving across the more northern regions of the United States, even into southern Canada there. Now by Tuesday, July 12th, this is the look. We see some potential thunderstorms flaring up here in our more plains regions of the United States. And then to the north of there, we see more thunderstorms for the Great Lakes, the Pacific, or not the Pacific Northwest, the upper Midwest, and the Northeast. That's what we're seeing at that point. Wednesday, July 13th, we see some storminess around for the eastern United States, but overall things are looking quieter than they had been. For Thursday, we see, again, primarily the storminess in this region. And then for Friday, we also see this in here, Friday the 15th. So we're getting really far into pattern there. That's the end of the model run. We'll take that with a grain of salt, everything quieting down there at the end, because that is pretty far out. But this is what this model is calling for at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look at that total precipitation real quickly. And as you can see, if you're anywhere in the whites, we're expecting almost no precipitation, if not literally no precipitation. The grays will be a tenth of an inch or less of precipitation. The greens will be tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues will be half an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. And then your reds will be 2 to 5 inches of precipitation. So we see a lot of that for the Ohio Valley into the eastern United States, where again, on the storminess that we just took a look at, we see that a lot of that activity does head into that region. So it's not really a huge surprise there. We do see that the browns, the 5 to 10 inches there, are around for North Carolina and South Carolina. So we'll keep that in mind as well. It's again 5 to 10 inches of precipitation over the next 10 days, which is a whole lot. But we're going to have a whole lot of storminess moving through. So some spots will likely see those very high amounts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at that temperature pattern and then eventually the severe weather pattern. All right, now here we are taking a look at the temperature pattern. As you can see, we're going to experience above normal temperatures throughout a lot of these areas that I'm circling here. We have some pockets in the northeast that are seeing below normal temperatures, and then primarily the west coast and the western United States seeing those below normal temperatures there. Let's just move this towards tomorrow, Thursday the 7th. We see probably a trough in the west, although there's really spotty conditions where we have warmth out here in the east, and there's still some warmth making its way somehow into these regions. So it's a weird pattern. It's not very clear cut, I would say. Even this frame, there's some warmth in some spots. There's some cold in some spots here for Friday the 8th, but overall not a clear cut pattern yet. Now by this point, it looks like we're seeing a bit more of a ridge developing in the west, and then a bit more of a trough in the east here. Something like this is maybe what's taking place here, but the storminess adds kind of some mystery to the whole thing, because the cloudiness and the storminess can cause some below normal temperatures to take place just because the sun isn't making its way through. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now by Sunday, the 10th here, we're seeing a very similar story here, more of a trough in the east and more of a ridge here in the west with some above normal temperatures there. Let's see, by Monday, the 11th, yeah, definitely seeing, this is an interesting pattern because we see actually like a double ridge. We see a lot of warmth here for the west coast, but also all the way up through the northeast. So a lot of warmth to go around there. I'm wondering how long that can last like that. And it doesn't look like it lasts very long because we have a bigger trough heading through kind of the central United States, which makes sense. So we have warmth heading up the east coast, warmth heading through the west coast, primarily the west coast here. Very, very warm out there with cold kind of in between here. By the time we reach Wednesday the 13th, we can see two things happening. First off, we see cold infiltrating the west coast, which could mean this ridge is coming to an end. But not only that, we see a big trough here in the east for a lot of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, where we're going to see a pretty decent cool down here with this trough. But still a lot of warmth heading in like this. But the cold is making its way to the coast, which usually means that could be coming to an end. Yeah, by Thursday, we see a lot of the warmth is shoved further eastward. This is another sign we see the cold really infiltrating these regions. We'll have to see if this plays through the way I think it can. Oh, yeah, we're getting more and more cold here, so we'll see what happens. Actually, we won't, because this is the end of the model run. But it does look like that ridge towards the middle portion of the month of July is heading further eastward. So, with that being said, we should transition towards a warmer pattern in the east, I think, towards the second half of the month. And coming up in a couple days, we're going to get a much colder pattern in the east. That is the look as of now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at the Storm Prediction Center and really just that severe weather update. Now, we have a few updates to go over. This is for today on Wednesday, July 6th here. And if you're anywhere in the lighter greens, you have a general thunderstorm risk. That's where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The darker green is going to be your marginal risk area, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And the two yellow regions there is where we have a slight risk at severe weather and where we expect scattered severe weather to take place today on Wednesday, July 6th. For day 2, Thursday, July 7th, we have, again, that general thunderstorm risk in the lighter green. Again, the marginal risk there in the darker green. And again, the slight risk there in the yellow area. It looks like they haven't even moved hardly. Very interesting there. For day 3, Friday, July 8th here, we have, again, the general thunderstorm risk taking up a lot of the nation here. We have the 2 marginal risk areas, and then we only have a slight risk up there for Montana on this day. So we don't get 3 days in a row for the southeast, mid-Atlantic area. But we do get those first 2 days in a row, and we still have a marginal risk here. Very interesting. We have 2 extended outlooks here to show you guys as well. We have at least a slight risk expected here for Saturday, July 9th, up there for Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota, where we see that yellow region. This translates to at least a slight risk. And then for day 5 here on Sunday, July 10th, we have the same exact thing here, just a little bit further eastward. We see that yellow region there is where we expect at least a slight risk. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're remaining at a 4 out of 6, just until we get in a more clear-cut pattern. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Alden, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Garys, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.